Speech off.
Hello, and welcome to my channel, A Blind Woman Speaks, where I talk about disability awareness and inclusion from the perspective of a blind white woman. Today's topic is walking by faith, how a blind person travels independently in their physical environment. My name is Kelsey Waters, and this is my original content. You may have heard the common scriptural exhortation to walk by faith, not by sight. Well, for a blind person like me, that is literally true. But when we're talking about how a blind person travels, we need to add the word prudence in there. And how about intentionality, practice, and hard work while we're at it? Here's why. There are certain methods that a blind person uses to learn a new space. It doesn't just come to us. We have to be very intentional about learning. For example, I have worked at 5 different hospitals now as a chaplain, as an intern, then a resident, and now a staff chaplain. And I could not learn the hospital just by walking around every day. And the tours that we get when we start working there, they don't help a blind person. And here's why. I have to work with an orientation and mobility specialist, somebody who is trained and certified to teach people who are blind how to travel independently, including practicing different routes and teaching different tools and skills that we can use in any travel situation or environment. Each time I started at a new hospital, my mobility instructor had to teach me the routes to different points in the building, from point 1 to point 2, then from point 2 to point 3, and then from point 3 back to point 1. And then after that, we'd still have to work on points 4, 5, 6, etc. Now, it doesn't have to be an orientation and mobility instructor every single time we learn a route. It is possible for somebody else who's not a certified O&M instructor to work with us, but only if they've learned the techniques and methods that are important to use when trying to teach a blind person a route. Learning a route takes small steps, practicing, focus, and lots of repetition. The blind traveler has to stick to it, and we can't be afraid to get lost because that's just a part of the learning experience too. Here's an example of 2 ways how to instruct a blind person. The first is the not helpful way, and second is helpful, the unhelpful way. First, what you might say is, to get to the bathroom, turn right off the elevator, walk straight for a while, and then the bathroom is on your left. Here's the helpful way. When you get off the elevator, turn right and follow the wall on your left. There will be 2 openings on your left that you will pass, and then the 3rd opening will be the entrance to the bathroom. Turn left and the women's bathroom will be on your right. When you are giving instructions to a blind person, be mindful that it is most helpful for them to have a landmark, such as a wall to trail or pews to follow, because it is difficult to travel in open space without any point of reference. Please do not take it for granted that we will just learn a space just from being there for a length of time, especially if most of what we are doing is being guided or following a crowd or operating within a very limited space within that building or environment. You might say, "You've been here a year. Don't you know the space?" But that is not realistic because of the amount of time, repetition, and practice and intention it takes us to learn a space. If we haven't had that, then chances are we may not know our way around the environment. Honestly, the responsibility is two-sided. It's my responsibility as a blind person to take initiative and ask for the help I need to learn the space. At the same time, it is your responsibility as a sighted person to think about how accessible your space is and if the blind person who is there regularly can navigate the space. So if you ask me how you can support me in learning to navigate the space, that shows that you care and that you want to be inclusive and that you are giving thought to how accessible the environment is. It may also be a great learning opportunity because you may not know the techniques that a blind person uses to travel independently, but you can watch and learn. And here's another thing. If we have been given the training that we need and are working on orienting our way around a space, don't come running the minute you see us getting lost and automatically think that we need to be rescued. There may be some times where we really do need help, but there may be some times where we just need to figure it out on our own because, as I said before, getting turned around is sometimes part of the learning experience and can help you figure it out on your own. Because if I am trying to go to a certain destination and I turn the wrong way, if I get the time to realize on my own that I've turned the wrong way, then that gives me another opportunity to explore the environment. And so that next time, if I make that same mistake, I'll know right away, this is where I am, and this is how I need to get back. So always ask, if you see us looking like we may be struggling, ask, do you need help? Or would you like some time to try to figure this out on your own? Now, these are just a few tips, and I can do more videos on mobility and orientation because this is just a little bit of a tidbit that I gave you. And there are differences in the way we travel between cane users and guide dog users. And we can talk about that too. This is just a little starting point that kind of talks about the attitudes behind orientation and mobility and also the very basics of the techniques. So hopefully this helps you to understand a bit more about what walking by faith means for me as a blind person and how I navigate. So if you like what you heard, please like this video and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. I strongly encourage you to share, comment, ask questions, talk about it, engage, because the more we learn, the more our hearts are open, and the more that we can do our part to make the world a more inclusive place. Let's support each other as we all learn together how to better walk by faith and prudence. Until next time, stay tuned for more videos from A Blind Woman Speaks.